Welcome to the Creative Entrepreneurs Podcast, where it's all about turning your unique talents and perspectives into a viable business. And now, your host, Paris Hamilton.
Hello and welcome to episode 13 of the Creative Entrepreneurs Podcast. I'm your host, Paris Hamilton. In this episode, we're going to talk about ways to go about finding a mentor or a leader in your field and the type of things you should ask them or the type of things you should talk about when you're with them. Before I jump into the content for today, I want to tell you that I am still compiling a list of questions that you all have, and I'll be bringing on a business consultant in the future in order to help answer those business related questions. So send those either through the website's contact page or send them to me on Twitter or the Facebook page for the Creative Entrepreneurs. You should be able to search the Creative Entrepreneurs and easily find my page on Facebook. For those who have already sent in questions, I want to thank you, and I will definitely look forward to answering those questions on the show in the future, so definitely stay tuned. I recognize when I am not the best person to answer certain questions, so in those type of situations, I definitely don't mind reaching out to an expert in order to help you all. So that's exactly what I'm going to do for that future episode. So send in your business-related questions, and I'll do my best to have those featured on the future show. Let's go ahead and jump in. So let's say that you have evaluated your immediate circle of influence, like we talked about on the last episode, and you decided that you don't have someone in your circle that can help you get to where you're trying to go in life. So you decide to set out and find somebody. Now, you may be thinking, why would someone successful in my field want to spend time with me? Or what do they get out of the deal? You would be surprised to know that a lot of successful people, once they reach a certain high level in their field or endeavors, they just want to pay it forward. A lot of successful people are looking for someone who is motivated that they can pass information along to or just help out in some way. A lot of people would just be happy with the satisfaction that they receive from helping someone who is enthusiastic and willing to learn and apply knowledge. So don't think that the relationship would not be mutually beneficial, because it would be. You just have to get out there and find the right person. Because if you ask a lot of successful entrepreneurs why they are mentoring someone, they will likely say something along the lines of, someone mentored me and they asked that one day I pay it forward. Or maybe someone mentored them and they just want to do it for someone else out of the kindness of their own heart. One thing to recognize before searching for a mentor is that there are different types of mentors. You could have a direct mentor, which would be somebody who you would interact with in person, or you could have an indirect mentor, which of course would be someone who you don't interact with in person. Now, as far as the indirect mentor, this can come in one of two ways. One being that you could have a mentor that you have regular phone calls or video calls with, or two, you could read the books of experts or listen to their podcasts and gather whatever information you need in that moment. So, how to find a mentor or a leader in your field? Number one, I'd say let your intentions be known to those around you. So when others know that you are striving to do something specific, their mind becomes open to that new information, and they begin to pick up on when they see things of that nature around them. I talked about this reticular activating system in the brain on a previous podcast episode, and how it's responsible for processing most of the information that enters the brain. For instance, if my friends know that I am trying to flip houses, then if they cross paths with somebody who else is successful at flipping houses, then they will think of me and try to either connect us or pass along their name and information to me. It's like having eyes and ears in multiple locations, even when you aren't around, just by making your intentions known to the people that are actually in your circle and around you. So, the second way to find a mentor or leader in your field, ask. Simple as that. Ask those around you a simple question. Do you know anyone who's a leader in whatever XYZ field you want to be in? You could do that for real estate investing, blogging, podcasting, photography, whatever your interest is. And if they do know someone, of course, they will tell you their name. At that point, you can ask the follow-up question, could you introduce us? What's the worst thing that could happen if you ask that question? They say no, and then you are back where you started. But if they say yes, then you just made a contact that you can potentially find a mentor or a leader in your field from. A third way to find a mentor or a leader in your field, go to conferences or large gatherings in your field. I'll use my field as an example. I'm a chemist, so I usually go to the annual American Chemical Society conference, and I'll find what sessions interest me at that conference, and I'll attend those sessions. If a speaker really gives a message that resonates with me, then I'll approach them after the talk and make an introduction and likely exchange business cards. But you can't be scared to approach people who seem like they're in a higher position than you. Not only should you show confidence, but you will demonstrate that you have ambition and good communication skills. Make note that first impressions do matter. How you dress, how you speak, how you shake hands, all things that matter when you are approaching someone in person. They will not only generate an impression of you before you speak, but after they hear what you have to say as well. So you have to make it count. The fourth way to find someone who could be a potential mentor, take someone's course or read someone's book, put their strategy into action, and become a success story of theirs. If you implement someone's strategy and you make, say, $1,000 in a week, or something that seems like their definition of success, then they would likely love to share your story with their audience. This way is almost guaranteed to get you some time with that successful person, even if it's just a response email. Entrepreneurs love success stories from individuals who followed their system. It boosts their ego a little bit. It helps you. It helps them sell more of whatever product you use. It's essentially a win-win. You might be thinking, why would I need a mentor if I already have success with their product? You likely will have gained some lower level of success or got some type of instant gratification. But if you truly want to be successful in your field, then you will likely want to get more and more results and eventually be recognized as a leader in that field yourself. You will likely be headed on a path that they have been down before, and they can help you navigate obstacles that you might not even know are going to arise. So, what kind of questions should you ask them, or what kind of things would you talk about? So, I'll kind of preface this section by saying that you don't necessarily want to walk up to a leader in your field and start playing 20 questions with them. That won't necessarily look good for you. What you should do instead is seek to build some type of professional relationship with them so that you have an ongoing contact. I probably wouldn't just approach them and say, will you be my mentor? That might not work out very well. What you should really be doing is a little research on the individual and really find out how they can help you out. I wouldn't approach them out of desperation, but I would approach them with more of a confident and ambitious tone For instance, I'll go back to my approaching a conference speaker example. I might say something along the lines of, "Hey, I really enjoyed your speech, particularly the part on XYZ. I've really struggled with doing XYZ, and what you said gave me clarity on how to move forward. I would love for us to exchange contact information so that I can reach out to you outside of this conference." I have never been turned away when I approach speakers at conferences. If someone runs out of business cards or doesn't have any on them, I usually have a pen and paper and they write their information on that. Um, Another approach that you could take is to invite this individual for a cup of coffee, tea, or even lunch on you. You pay. Not many people will turn down a free coffee or tea or a lunch. Like, how good of a return on investment would that be? You spend somewhere between $2 and $20, but in return, you get a mentor who's an expert in something that you want to achieve, and you just spent time building a relationship with this person. So this really begs the question, how do you get them to take interest in you? That is a relatively simple question to answer because it starts with you showing an interest in them. So it changes how you approach people when you are initially like, look at me, I'm so full of potential, please give me your time. And then you approach them from a standpoint of, what you're doing is very fascinating to me, tell me more. People love when someone else shows interest in the same things that they are interested in. Like, have you ever heard someone talk about things that excites them compared to when that same person talks about things that don't excite them? It's like a complete 180. A person just absolutely lights up when they talk about something they enjoy. And that's what I would recommend for you. Get this expert to talk about something that they love by showing interest in them and what they do. But you don't want to overdo it. Um, don't be a brown nose or a suck up. You have to find a balance between not seeming interested and sucking up. It may even take a few attempts and practice. If it's not something that comes natural to you, practice with a friend or maybe even in a mirror just to see how you're coming off to someone. Once you have them engaged, the questions you ask should really come naturally to you and the conversations, because if you're truly passionate about wanting to get to where they are, you will want to dig in as much as possible into their brain. But realize that it's not all about hearing yourself speak. You shouldn't have to, you shouldn't just have your list of questions and ask them one after the other and try to write down every word they say. You should try to internalize the information and hopefully even put it into practice so that they can help you through any rough patches or obstacles while you have their attention. Don't just soak up knowledge just to soak up knowledge. At the end of the day, you have to make some kind of move with the information. You can learn strategies all you want, but at the end of the day, you have to make a move. Look, there's this cliche phrase that goes like this: knowledge is power. I absolutely agree with that. But in the context of this episode, let's flip that phrase a little bit into knowledge is potential power. That means that you can have knowledge stored up, but would it do you any good if you don't use it? Like, really take time to think about that as I sign out of this session. So I hope that this podcast session has been helpful for someone listening. Be sure to leave comments on what you liked, disliked, and if this has helped you in any way. Also, it would be great if you could share any suggestions that you think I may have missed for the audience. If you do want to share, just head over to the website, click on podcasts, and go over to episode 13. Make sure you get on the email list and please leave a positive review on iTunes because those are extremely helpful. I know that some people were having issues posting reviews at the very beginning of June. So if that happens to you, please contact me through the website so that I can tell iTunes and get the issue resolved as soon as possible. As always, I look forward to serving you in the next episode. So be on the lookout for that. Remember, build your dreams, or someone else will hire you to build theirs.
Thanks for listening to the Creative Entrepreneurs Podcast. Join us next time for more great insights. And don't forget to subscribe to the email list to get the latest information and updates.